Okay, we're in and we still got a pause. Isn't it lovely when it takes this long to get a game of Dota going? I mean, I don't really mind. I just want a good time. I just want a good game. It's just that I'm kinda impatient. Also, there's Octarine Core Krabby. Anything else cool to look at? I do like this Omnilord a lot because of the halo. Halos like that look so freaking badass, you know, that whole Seraphim kind of vibe coming from it. Wow, being written on the map there by Omni Knight. Then we got the Edgelord Assassin Anti-Mage. Honestly, his immortals are so cool. It's just that the mask makes him look like such an edgelord, like even more of an edgelord than he actually is. He's, you know, quite edgy per default, and we got the wards coming out. We got one over here, well within the camp. And Lorem Ipsum, I wonder what their game plan, like their actual strategy to win this is gonna be. Their draft's pretty solid, but the question is if we're gonna see any early rotation shenanigans kind of thing. What we do see is TNT running for his life there, and his good pal Earthshaker is gonna help him out with that.
The battle begins.
Gold is a great conductor.
Was PA banned? This game PA wasn't banned. Last game PA was banned. The first game PA was picked. The second game PA was banned. This game the hero was completely ignored. Okay, so on the mid lane we got BB on the Bloodseeker, one of his better heroes, up against the Queen of Pain, which honestly can be a bit of a pain because you take a ton of harass damage and that annoying, you know, slow from the dagger. But he should be able to manage. I have faith in him. He does have the ability to continuously refill his health, which is really gonna help BB stay somewhere in somewhat of a relevant position lasted wise. Meanwhile on the bottom lane, it's gonna be what seems to be a defensive tri-lane. Up against an aggressive tri-lane. So I do believe this game most of the action is gonna be going down the bottom lane. The mid lane might end up resulting in some really fast kills, but I think that's gonna happen from the moment where Queen of Pain hits level 6, maybe level 5 even. You can still blink scream somebody down who's sitting at low health from level 5, but Sonic Wave really gives you that big nuke tool you need to establish your lane dominance and shut BB down potentially. And as of right now, Anti-Mage's just farming up. Has a pretty solid start there. It looks like Seifer comes on in just to put some more pressure on BB. It's not really needed on the mid lane.
The time
So this entire draft's going super slow right now, which isn't all that bad. I just wasn't expecting it because anti-mage kind of needs to be shut down. It should be a really big priority for Lorem Ipsum. Maybe they plan to shut him down once, you know, BB comes online. Until then, just kind of ignore him and let him do his thing. But right now this looks to be a really good Battle Fury timing, whereas BB is kind of doing decent on the mid lane. Could be better, could be worse. On the bottom lane, Illogic continuing his farm train there. Sitting on top of the last by a huge margin. Meanwhile, the mid lane, BB's attack animation is a little bit faster than that of Yabby there, so he's gonna get the first blood. That was a game of chicken, and BB almost gets a kill on Xever, but gets finished off instead. He has such significant early game damage. Bloodseeker just hitting like a truck. If you get a kill, you come back to nearly full health and can rinse and repeat that whole getting a kill thing over and over and over again. Nobody's stopping you, except for Clockwork with his damn mini stuns. That was really nasty for Koala, being body blocked by an Invis tree. Engines often engines being pulled when that tree regoes often do face the same fate. Meanwhile, we have 2 kills happening across the board. So, kill lead completely equaled out. As for the gold, slight favor for Lorem Ipsum. But in terms of gold distribution, the anti-mage is going really strong to kind of help make up for that one again. About as quiet as a game can be. MyPro getting bullied by AM a bit. After all, still one of the good hard counts to Necro for a reason. Meanwhile, BB, Cogdid, is gonna try and somehow survive there. Is gonna use the wand and might actually be able to live to tell the tale, or at the very least get denied. Okay, so he made it through the tick. It wasn't all that close as it looked, because that was the last tick. He just survived and then he activated the shrine, so not in any actual real danger.
You got away, eh?
Koala just went down to a super low elf Nevermind, who's trying to teleport out and will succeed. The struggle of a Clockwork not having that rocket flare early on.
Gold is a great conductor.
And this is, honestly, I'm just gonna say it, this is kind of a boring start.
Haste.
Now, I'm not saying the game is boring, and I'm not saying that it isn't a good game, because for all we know, the mid game can be super fight intensive again. But after 2 super fast, super exciting games, we're gonna see this one, which is a bit slower. Yabby's gonna go down, as BB is trying to change this game. Just as I mentioned, it's kinda slow. And on the bottom lane we got 2 super low of people as well, but it looks like Lorem don't want to go in. This is often the case when 2 teams are super equally matched, where like the first and second game, like the first game one team is super optimistic, the second game the other team tries to push the aggression to kind of overwhelm their opponents, and then the third game everything's like this, where there's actual respect, there's actual, you know, that mutual fear that the other team might just end the game really fast and without you having any control about it. We're gonna follow BB's journey to a gank here. Potentially a gank on a logic. And there we go with the rupture. And the blood ride coming out as well. A logic just dead here. faces his fate, goes on down. I don't think you can blink step. Wait, can you still blink step in the current version of Dota?
I tested your metal and found
It doesn't say on Rupture anymore how far you have to travel to. Like how far you have to travel in 1 second to no longer take damage from Rupture, because it doesn't insta kill on TP. So back in the day, what you could do is you could take 1 step and then blink. Only on a, I think it worked on both Anti-Mage and Queen of Pain. Then it worked on Queen of Pain only for a while. Now I'm not sure if it works on either. Or how it works more precisely, because I don't know. It's a really weird mechanic. Meanwhile, Illogic decides to lane switch over to the top lane to continue his farm. But here too he has to discover, shit, Razor is really damn good against Anti-Mage. Especially in lane. Like, later on, yeah, Anti-Mage is always gonna break those damage links. Right now, however, that's not quite the case. BB, meanwhile, still making the most out of his lane. And see, this is pretty good for Anti-Mage. Yeah, yay me, I broke the Razor damage link. But Razor is still good at bullying Anti-Mage in terms of damage output and hero mechanics in general.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Anti-Mage gonna go on TNT, who's just bad being body blocked in there. A Queen of Pain ultimate being committed, and that means the Earthshake has to run for his life. Razor draining up a ton of damage there. 4-man fissure, and now BB fighting 1 versus 3, 1 versus 2, 1-on-1 against Xefer now, and is not gonna chase for Xefer. Getting himself a triple kill there. Those executioner type heroes, you know, like Bloodseeker, this is what they excel at, being surrounded by low health heroes. And 1v whatevering them. You can freaking 1v5 on a Viper or Bloodseeker if the enemy's low health enough. I know that X is the actual executioner, but he doesn't scale so well compared to Bloodseeker and Viper, and now we're gonna see BB still stay alive through all of that, with TNT helping his pal out there and tanking a lot of what Clockwork has to throw at them. And this game, it's kind of overwhelming because neither of these teams really want to be the aggressors here. I mean, BB might kind of want to on the Anti-Mage and stuff, but that's also because you're forced to shut him down. If you don't shut down the Anti-Mage, then you just straight up lost the game. And I'm gonna switch over to Networth here so we can see how shut down Illogic actually is. It's not all that bad, but I'd put this in the shit, this is gonna be a late Battle Fury, but if I finish it, I'll be fine kind of category. We legitimately need to make a category scale for how shut down somebody is. I think that would be really helpful for both, team communications as well as casting. And yeah, there it is. You only walk 1 step, you blink, and you don't take any damage because you move slightly too fast, according to Dota. It only works on the Queen of Pain still, but it worked, and that means BB is gonna go down. A ton of gold swing back around in the favor of RRQ. And I like that play a lot, that whole blink step play. And another way of making it work on the Anti-Mage is force-staffing him while he's in the middle of a blink. That will also still count as long as you manage to do it in the same direction. Razor getting overkilled a little bit there. And it looks like RRQ, they're finally finding their way back into this game. Getting a good chunk of kills. Getting anti-mage to recover some farm. But BB, he's gonna continue trying to build up a lead again. Blood for the blood god and all that. Meanwhile, TNT gets ran at here by 3. And that's just straight up gonna mean boom, mana void. Okay. Bit of an overkill there, but definitely a satisfying way to end it. And a nice way of ensuring you get the last to help you out with your item timing. And honestly, it would be kinda ironic if Illogic here would get a super late Battle Fury and Team RRQ would still end up winning the game, because when Lorem tried to make an anti-mage work and he had like pretty much great, far above average item timing, the game was still lost. So I see the humor in that situation. I do hope you do too.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Coin for me.
Okay, so Xever went down
Dire's top tower is under attack.
to my pro, who is now suddenly becoming really damn relevant. He did kind of have that situation I described earlier on, where Reaper's Hive is sitting off cooldown a lot of the time and you don't end up actually using it a lot. But now he found an opportunity and I don't think he wants to stop spamming that out and giving people a bit of extra respawn time. And Illogic got the kill on TNT. Turns out there's a ton of action on the top lane while the Omni Knight is getting killed up. Or, well, a kill attempt made on the Omni Knight over here. Okay, looks like they finally got him.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Thanks to BB. Hookshot in from Xever. Xever now trying to save his pal's life, and he will succeed. Instead, BB is gonna go down.
Is under attack.
Okay, Echo is gonna drop here. The Razor ultimate definitely dishing out a ton of damage. Xever is gonna go down next, but for now he's still alive. And they finally try to get him with the Echo Slam, but that just leads to Earthshaker dropping to the Queen of Pain. Yabby now trying to get away and will take that kill home.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Okay, so every time while there's towers being pushed, it looks like BB, either BB or Illogic decide to go out and fight literally all the time, so that we don't get to see tower push action.
Dire's structures
But
are
in this particular scenario, there's not a lot of action yet. Now with Xever in position looking for a hookshot there might be, and hookshot onto the Razor. Razor trying to get out of there. Will just succeed. And RRQ decide not to chase anymore.
Radiant's bottom tower has been
But tier 1 just got denied by Razor. Okay. Nice way of keeping that gold lead for Lorem Ipsum. And Necro attempting a really, really optimistic kill there on Illogic. There's a reason why anti-mage is your counter buddy. I mean, if that would have worked, even, you know, if he would have managed to deal more damage. Okay. Now I have to kind of assume that that was planned from the start. Necro, my pro. It's just gonna go down. No help from spells, but Lorem Ipsum, they're focused on other stuff, such as keeping your DPM and farm going. BB sees a quap, gets a quap. This game is so ridiculous because you see stuff like that happen and the Omni Knight just casually walks away. Now these teams respect each other a bit too much to actually, you know, the best and most entertaining to watch Dota teams are usually the really arrogant ones who are like, yeah, we'll show you how it's done, you know. Cocky till the last second. It might not always be good for your win ratio, but it definitely is for entertainment value. Meanwhile, you got Zephyr putting Earthshake in the cogs before getting out himself. There's the Omni Knight ultimate committed. Lich ultimate getting some decent bounces in, but Lorem, they're not gonna take any much too heavy losses there, thanks to partially the Rupture and some other stuff. Anti-Mage will get like a 1930, maybe even. Oh, this is still decent. Illogic reclaiming his Battle Fury timing here, and I mean, if he manages to reach that late game sweet spot, then he has proven quite a significant point. This could prove that item timing isn't all that important as most people think. Okay. Logic is gonna get gone and killed off here by BB, and that's not good for the Anti-Mage to go down right there. He would have loved to, you know, use a fight like this one to go and split push under the hashtag space trade and all that. And RRQ, it looks like they're still trying to kill off BB here. BB staying alive just ever so barely, and finally the Queen of Pain will finish him off. Never mind, is gonna be able to. Okay, I shouldn't speak too soon, but yeah, he's gonna be able to live. And that means RRQ, despite losing the Anti-Mage there, which they really didn't want to lose, they get a far more juicy, far more valuable return kill BB on the big fat Bloodseeker. I mean, that's just huge. That's just so great to get. Okay, AM farming it up. It looks like Lorem want to push the aggression here, continuing trying to further their lead and keep Anti-Mage down. But Logic, he's gonna stay out of there, he's gonna stay careful.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Vigilant at all times, my mate. I mean, that's kind of how Anti-Mage works, you know? Your blink and the ability to blink away is one of your core mechanics, obviously. But knowing when to blink is how you play him well. You can't just... Ooh, look, I can press W the second I see somebody going on me. Then you get stuff like Earthshake shutting you down completely. Meanwhile, Zephyr is gonna live there thanks to the Omni Knight ultimate, which didn't quite connect on the Lich. So Lich's gonna die. And Clockwork died as well, enabling Lorem to go for a bit of a siege here. They can only get one lane of Rex at max, but I think that's plenty for them right now, because that will in the long run just make Anti-Mage's life so much harder. Less money from split pushing means less of a chance to come on back. Talk about Anti-Mage's split pushing. He's doing that at the bottom lane right now, getting a tier 2 tower. But Lorem, it looks like they will get these melee racks unless there is really good contestation. And we got Earthshake going onto the Queen of Pain. About the anti-mage, there is an attempt made from Lorem to actually fight this before they try to back off as a team here. TNT might be the one of the team they have to leave behind. Looks like he is. But Koala, in order to finish off that kill, put himself into danger. And Yabby went down, Tifa went down. Now Koala about to go down as well. BB seeing a decent, not quite enough movement speed as it turns out. Meanwhile, the anti-mage pushed in through the bottom lane. That means a buyback committed there from the hero to try and defend that. Meanwhile, BB is gonna go down to the Queen of Pain, and this is a lane of Rex, so it's a really good moment for Team Lorem Ipsum. But the fact that you just lost BB again, on the long run, you know, losing that Bloodseeker so often is gonna hurt you, especially if we look at the gold net worth. Heh. I think you can understand what the problem there is. Meanwhile, my pro, he got caught out as well. Quap, Blink, finishing him up before he can get out of there.
Yes.
Boom, there it goes.
Illogic continuing to try and rat the bottom lane, which is kind of interesting because there's still tier 1s to be taken. You don't have to wait for the back. You don't have to wait for the back to protection to wear off if you can push top tier 1 tower, but it's far less accessible according to the map. You don't have any good juke paths here. You really do risk being caught by the Bloodseeker, and he's afraid of that. The Bloodseeker, meanwhile, busy bashing Roshan instead of hunting for the anti-mage. Crybaby now sitting at an Aegis. That makes him so much more effective because he's already great at running at people. Just not all too good when it comes to, you know, getting nuked down, especially with the Blood Rage. He's risking his life every single fight. Now he has 2 lives to risk. So that's pretty nice for Team Lorem Ipsum. As for Illogic, he's actually going pretty steady regarding his GPM and everything, but he would really wish another lane to push.
Dire's top tower is under
If he had 2 lanes to push, then by now he could have done so much because his positioning is on point. He knows when to get back and when not to. But he's very limited to the production, to the creep production of one lane, and that's going to be a bit of an issue. Especially if we look at Lorem Ipsum just pushing those objectives to maintain their gold lead.
Dire's top shrine has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower.
Bloodseeker has one of the best anti-mage builds or whatever. Yeah, I guess not only builds but also styles, but the two kind of go hand in hand. So Omni Knight making himself immune to everything and getting out of there. To the allies, he yells dive. Just, you know, seeing the joke in the situation, even though this is a really hard game to play. Meanwhile, the Quap died. 2 BB there. Got caught. And see, that's why Anti-Mage isn't pushing out the top lane, despite wanting to do it so much. If you push top, you can get such fast item timing, you can get really reliable GPM, you can help open up the map for your team, yada yada yada. Bloodseeker comes and kills you. Okay, so apparently chat has been asking about the blink step interaction. Sorry for the late reaction, I usually always read chat. Sometimes in games like these, however, I keep a database, you know, statistics and stuff on my other screen, and I don't have a third screen yet, so kind of forgot to read that. It's a bit late now, but know the anti-mage blink and then press Manta style interaction. It no longer works. Blink now has a 0.5 or some like really short time after blink where you can't act, and the thing was you could instantaneously act after the blink animation, like after your hero has been physically displaced. You could immediately act. Nowadays that isn't the case anymore. I know that one for a fact. I didn't know if there was enough distance between the two to still do the blink step, but there isn't. So that means Illogic is gonna have a hard one here doing anything at all. This fight going really well for Lorem Ipsum, however Yabby's still super highly effective to kind of make up for what Anti-Mage isn't able to do. And TNT is gonna go down. Nevermind probably gonna drop in a second or two here as well, but he's sitting at 200 freaking damage. Look at that ultra long razor whip. Meanwhile, over here, looks like we got my pro about to go down. Still at some flash healing potential, but against Anti-Mage doesn't really matter because you're gonna be out of mana most of the time anyways. Still a really good fight to be taken for Lorem Ipsum there, definitely worth it, despite RRQ getting nearly an entire team wipe in return. A team wipe for Rex when you're playing an anti-mage game, I'd go for that one every day.
Tis mine.
Okay, TNT is gonna get caught. However, we got a counter initiation there from Team Lorem Ipsum. There comes the Lich ultimate, however, dishing out a ton of damage, and BB is gonna go down once again. Like I said, every team fight he's risking his life, so once again it's up to Razor to do most of the carrying here, but Nevermind actually quite effective at that. Especially Omni Knight now keeping himself alive, but the Razor ultimate still gonna keep hitting him all the meanwhile, and that means pretty decently easy Omni kill, especially with the Reaper Scythe there, just adding a bit of respawn time. And Lorem Ipsum, despite having to rely on Nevermind to carry them now, Nevermind is able to do exactly that. We got an attempt from Lorem to now push in the bottom lane after losing two of their heroes. Also, another, come to think of it, another reason why you might be able to pull off the blink step on Anti-Mage with a Manta style instead of proccing it is because it gives you more movement speed. That movement speed could actually matter, that you walk like a tiny bit more than you usually would. It's literally 50 distance in Dota. Wait, let me check. Can I see the attack range? Yeah. So, you literally need to blink half the attack range of melee creep. So half of this distance is what you need to blink. Or to walk before you blink. That seems doable in less than 1 second with Manta style. But we're just gonna chill here and wait for Necrophos to reconnect. Common issue, can't blame the player for it, happens to the best of them. The only problem is we're kinda out of cool shit to view. Ooh, we can get maybe an more interesting perspective on the side shop here. I still love showing off the side shops because they have such a nice military look to them, you know? Mulan tier Mongol versus Chinese army kind of art style. Especially because they actually look like quartermasters in uniforms, but not armed themselves, not really look at... I mean, these aren't soldiers, but definitely military men. You can see that. It's such a nice art style, such a great design. Just selling some casual stuff in addition to swords and shit. And we're gonna play the waiting game anyway, so we might as well look at items. Anti-Mage is gonna go for Linken's here. Linken's above Scepter in nearly every scenario on Anti-Mage. What Scepter should give you, in my opinion, like what Anti-Mage Aghanim Scepter should give you, in my opinion, and I know this sounds kinda weird, but just imagine this. Every time you kill off somebody with a Mana Void, you get a charge, and every charge is like a 5-second BKB. Maybe even make it complete magic immunity or something. But I think that would be great, because Anti-Mage, you usually don't go Aghanims. In every scenario where the Anti-Mage Aghanims would be good, the enemy will be smart enough not to throw big spells at you. Or to only throw them when it's worth it. So you might as well go BKB instead, which means literally nobody will use Aghanims as long as it's so bad compared to a BKB. And that's why I kind of think, you know, it's Anti-Mage. Give him freaking free BKB like Lifestealer, but that you have to do something for it to not make it completely broken. It would definitely be fun.
Dire's bottom shrine is under attack.
And it looks like the next shrine is just gonna be taken here while Lorem position themselves around the bottom tower. Should be able to push in now with the catapult wave. Razor can just press R if he really wants this tower, but I think they're saving that for the base to go for a quick finish here. In favor of Lorem and RRQ. The Anti-Mage is ready to fight. Let's see how. The question is how much can he pull in the next fight? How much damage can he deal? And how much is he gonna get kite? And we see two smoke gangs collide, which means both teams are grouped up. The perfect way to start such a final fight such as this one. And we're gonna see Razor immediately start off by leeching a ton of damage, but Yabby is able to kill off Earthshaker without the Echo Slam being performed there. Lich is gonna get scythed. With additional respawn time, Earthshaker is gonna buy back just in order to keep that big tool, the Echo Slam, available for this fight. And Anti-Mage, illogic. He did make a lot happen before now, but now he is in a lot of trouble, running for his life. On the backline there, Yabby died. Yabby now forced to buyback as well. Never mind. Starting to push tower, doesn't have his ultimate anymore, but doesn't really need it. And illogic trying to
afterwards in his
reinitiate there, trying to still work his I was gonna say work his magic, without realizing how shitty of fun that would be. But regardless of what he was trying to work, he's gonna go down, and GG is being called here by RRQ. Honestly, I would say this game went wrong when Anti-Mage got his Battle Fury this late and then didn't get an instant recovery. He couldn't push the top top towers. Even the top tier 1 was still standing against the Anti-Mage who's been playing Red Dota for 10 minutes, and that's just fatal in a game like this. So, Lorem Ipsum gonna take this game 2-0. That means I'm done casting for today. The Europe games will be done by Darklight, which wasn't intended. I was supposed to do EU today.